Now, before I step out into worship, to me, it's really all about getting out of self. It's really about, I like that focused time where I can just say, God, use me. I'm making myself available to you. It's not about the voice that I bring or contribute. It's not about the song. It's really about the message. God, what do you want to do? How are you going to speak and use us to really prepare your people to hear your word and to hear from you? So my background in singing is, I grew up primarily in a Black Baptist church. Growing up and being around choirs, my mom and dad were both very engaged in choir. My dad was a choir director. My mom sung in the choir. For me, it was a very common thing around my house to see my parents singing all the time. They would very often crank up the music and have the music going, and they'd harmonize to that. And I think that's been a big influence on me, kind of on the music side of that for me was a big influence. Well, really what led me to singing at Eastview is, my family and I, we started attending worship service here, and really Pastor Mike was really what was speaking to us, and I was, the word of God that he delivered was just awesome. And, I really sat around for a little while and wasn't as engaged, and probably the big thing for me was I really felt like the style of worship and the format and everything was here was so different than what I was used to being around. So I was probably a lot more hesitant than I should have been, and I wanted to use the gifts that God had given me, and I didn't want to sit on those much longer. So I prayed to God and asked God, God, I'm making myself available. Where would you have me to be used? And God spoke to me as that this was a place, and I needed to serve in this place for this season. And although that may not have been the most comfortable thing that I was used to and being around, I just made myself available and decided that I wanted to be a part of the worship team here and be engaged in it from that point. It's been a real blessing to me. Well, church music for me has really been a blessing in my life because I think it comes in several areas. One, for me, when I'm feeling, I need to be comforted, there's nothing that speaks to me better than when I hear the word of God and God's music. So when I feel overwhelmed, and the scripture talks about that, Lord, when my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to a rock that is higher than I. And I'm often reminded of music and of scripture when I'm going through difficult times, and I feel that sense of being overwhelmed. And so music and scripture has that way of really taking me to the place and bringing me to the closeness I need in God. I also think it gives me that opportunity to give God thanks like no other way. I can communicate thanks and praise to Him. Sometimes when I don't know the words I want to say and how I want to express that, thanks really gives me, or praising and singing gives me that opportunity to communicate with God, and gives me a closeness like I've never felt, and so that I really reach out and go to. I think God gives us this passion and this love that we have for Him and for His Word, and so I think if we have that passion and we have that love, I often think about the fact that, I love basketball. I'm a big LeBron James fan, and I express my passion and my desire and my love for that, but I love God more. And so the opportunity that we have as brothers and sisters to come together and to praise God through this wonderful avenue of singing and worship is a wonderful avenue to do that. And I think that's very important. So I think it's so awesome. We have to take advantage of that, and we're all growing and learning what worship is all about, and surrendering ourselves to worship and getting self out of the way, so it's not about who I am, but it's what we do. It's the sacrifice we make to give God all the glory and all the honor. And when we think about the goodness of God, it's a song, that words that come out that really mean a lot to me, that say, when we think about the goodness of God and all that He's done for me, my soul cries out, hallelujah. And singing and worship is just a wonderful opportunity for us to do so.